Hey y'all, welcome back to the podcast. We're doing something a little bit different. We're outside on our porch. It's a nice day. It's not scorching hot yet. So we're going to shoot out here. I hope y'all can hear us okay without the background noise and stuff like that. But if not, we'll never do it again. Don't worry. My name is Della. This is Coach Meyer. You Coach Meyer.
Coach Meyer, all right.
And this is a Just Gotta Make It podcast. And so today we are going to be talking about 5 ways that we kind of reject the poverty mindset and lean towards an abundance mindset in our marriage. So this is something I've been dealing with. Y'all hear the animals? We in the country for real. This is something I've been dealing with on the channel, and I just thought it would be cool for me and Maya to talk about it together, because really when you're married, it's a team effort. Like any mindset that you both carry is a mindset that you can keep and move forward with. So we're not gonna be here all day. Oh, it's loud for real out here. I hope it's okay. You didn't hear the startup, the engine startup? That's okay. This will probably be the last time.
It'll pick it up though?
I think it will pick it up, but it's all good. But yeah, so we're gonna jump in. We'll give you the numbers. We'll give you some examples, and just to kind of get your mind thinking about these aspects in your own life, so you can start pointing them out. Okay. All right. Number 1, which is something I feel like on this channel especially that we're known for, is challenging the status quo. That's just what we do. Like that's just how we live our life. And I feel like this.
Yeah, that was loud.
We tried, y'all. We tried to do the porch vibe, but I don't know if it's gonna work. I just feel like this is so important because I don't know, I think about the whole road less traveled thing. Like people think just because everybody's doing it, none of this was happening.
It barely had, I don't know if I ever heard this.
I've never heard this over here in my life.
Chickens don't like it either.
It's disrupting the peace. Okay. What was I saying? Okay, the road less traveled. When I think about that, the significance of I think it was like a Robert Frost poem. Did you study that in high school?
No, ma'am.
I
know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, just the idea of like, just because everybody's doing it, don't make it right. Yeah. In fact, if everybody's doing it, you probably need to go the opposite direction.
Yeah.
I feel like a good example of this is us deciding for me to stay at home with the kids whenever we first started having babies. We never really could on paper afford it, but we made it happen.
Yeah. Also, like some people, I was talking with somebody recently, and I was just talking to them. They recently had a kid, and I was like, "Oh, is your wife gonna stay at home?" They're like, "Nah, we can't afford it." So I'm like, "Okay." I mean, fair enough, but also thinking like, if it's best for the family or for the mom to stay at home,
figure it out.
Figure it out. Yeah.
We don't believe one way or the other that the mom has to stay at home, but it just makes me sad that people feel like it's just off the table.
Yeah,
like, we can't afford that.
That's the only option.
And he's making more than you made when we made the decision, probably for me to stay at home.
Yeah.
And that's just an example where it's like, and when Myron told me that, he's like, "Oh yeah, we can't afford that," and I was just like, "Man, as a man thinketh," right? Like as you think, that's your truth. And so that's kind of always been our thing. And then that just reminds me of number 2. We don't ever say we can't afford something. We say, how can we afford it? And it's funny because as I've been doing like this inner work and trying to figure out where there's areas of poverty mindset in my life, I've found that we actually do have a lot of abundance thinking in our brain. We just didn't know what it was. And now labeling it, we're in a better position to expand in that area. You know what I mean? And
know where we need to work on.
Exactly.
Or what aspect.
We just have clarity and language for it now.
Yeah.
And I think, something just hit me in the eye. This is real life country living. I'm thinking of another example of where we don't say we can't, we say how can we? Really, this house, we didn't say, oh, we can't afford to live in the area that we live in because the land is expensive. We just said, okay, how can we? This is where we want to live. We like this piece of land. What can we do? How can we? Me staying at home, how can we make that work? How can we make it happen? And that has opened so many doors. And a lot of times with the how can we, there's a step of faith before the answer comes. So I just think about I wanted my kids to go to a Mother's Day out so I could work on some things that I wanted to work on, and it's expensive, but we signed them up. And initially the plan was for Meyer to cut on the weekend so we could afford it until I figured out a way. Until I could figure out a way to make money on those days to afford it. And God opened up doors. I ended up coming on staff at the church, and they helped with that, and so that was cool. That's one of those ways. That's one of those examples of that.
Yeah. And also number 3 is not focus on the negatives, but focus on the things that you can control and the positives. So I can't think of an example right now.
Or not focus on what we talk about. Like, we try to spend a lot of our time talking about, because what you talk about, what you focus on, that's what grows. So we try to spend our time talking about ideas. Like, we spend a lot of our time brainstorming, because I'm reading Think and Grow Rich, and they're talking about the power of like a mastermind, or just having somebody to throw ideas back and forth on. And I think about Monday night, we got an idea that I felt like was Holy Spirit given.
Definitely.
And it was like 10:30 at night. But when you have an abundant mindset, you don't take these ideas lightly. And really reading Think and Grow Rich helped me with that. Like, they're like, when you get divine inspiration, so to me, when the Holy Spirit gives you an idea, it was talking about how one idea can change like the financial trajectory, that's a hard word for me to say, of your family. And I'm just like, wow. So now I honor ideas that come into my head, and I feel like we honor them more, and we took time to talk about it. I pulled out and it may seem nerdy, but it is what it is. This is what abundance mindset is. Abundance mindset says, regardless of the situation around me, at any moment the Lord could give me inspiration that could change what I can see with my eyes.
And it's like a flow. It was a flow to it. Like, you will say something.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I'll be like, oh, that's a great idea. Then I'll say something, and you'll be like, oh, that's a great idea. And like back and forth. That's how you know it's like divine. Yeah. It wasn't just purely out of like your brain or your thought or my brain, my thought. But it was like, okay, this is like
anointed. It was an anointed time, because I feel like we were able to do a complete outline for one of our courses. It's really curriculum that we're going to be doing for our business, and man, we did it in like 15 minutes, something that may have taken hours had not we been led by the Holy Spirit. And I just feel like that is a very much abundance approach to life. But
also, I can't remember what stemmed the conversation, but it was somewhere we went or somewhere we was doing. Then it was like, what?
I was hurt by something happened, like someone that's close to me was going through something, and they were texting me, and it really hurt me for them. Like, they didn't hurt me, but I was sad for their situation, and it's something that I carry. Like, sometimes you just want better for people, and I don't know, I was really hurt about it. I was telling Maya, I really need to let this go. I can't carry this. And I just kept saying that.
Yeah, then we thought of an outlet or like a way to help.
A solution.
Yes, exactly.
Not just that person, but multiple people in that situation.
Hold on.
Is that a cop? Y'all, we're having a lot of issues over here with our empty lot across from us. Like, literally. Oh, it's a sheriff. We're just gonna have to level up. We're gonna have to put some chains on the lot. There's some land across from us that we just purchased, and there's nothing on it. It's a vacant lot, and we literally just had some people come up and want to steal some tires. That's another example of we can't how, but we haven't done anything on that lot because it is gonna cost money. But we're literally like, this weekend we're gonna figure it out, because these people try to steal the tires off of this car we have sitting over there.
Yeah, they had a car, not a truck, a car with the trunk full of tires, no rims. It was tires on top of the car, and they pull up. I was
like, Mark, go get your keys. He already
had them on me. So I was like, all right, what they on? So I pull up, and I was like, say, y'all need to leave. Y'all trespassing. It's private property. And I don't know, the dude I don't know what he was saying. He said something about some tires, and I told him one more time. Then they left, but.
We were talking about something good too before that happened.
I remember where I was, but what's cool about it is that us seeking to like benefit or not benefit or help somebody.
That's good, yeah.
And then God was like, all right, boom, here's the idea, or here's the solution. You know what I mean? Because
That's
we
so
weren't
good.
because we weren't thinking about ourselves.
Yes.
Like literally, it was like,
and
man,
that's
how can I help
abundance,
them?
thinking outside of yourself.
Yes. And it's like, oh, dang, that is a great idea. And that idea is helping other people.
Yes.
But in turn is benefiting us as well.
We'll reap the reward from it,
Yeah.
but the it was given to us because God was like, I trust you to do this. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Because people, okay, I don't know if y'all have ever heard this, but they were like, I've heard this quote, like, in order for your gift to make you money or provide anything for you, it has to go out into the world and bless all these people before it can benefit you. And I believe that is very much an abundance mindset. Like, some people are too busy thinking me, ideas for me. But you're right, that whole session was inspired by, man, how can I help somebody in this situation? Because my heart breaks for people in this situation. That's so good. Number 4, taking care of our health. I feel like that's an abundant mindset. We don't have time to work out just like everybody else. But we try to make time to move our bodies, if nothing else. So if we have a busy day or we're just dead tired, we'll be like, okay, we finna go on a 30-minute, hour walk after the kids go to bed. Because if y'all watched my other video where I talked about the 5 ways the enemy tries to destroy our lives with poverty mindset, is your confidence. When you live in a poverty mindset, sometimes you lack confidence because you don't think you're deserving to be in spaces that God already ordained for you to be in, but you're walking with this low confidence. And I really feel like working out, especially me, I have so much weight to lose after having all these kids. And so for me, I prioritize my health because I know my mind is going to be better if I feel like myself again.
Definitely.
You know? And I don't know, I think that's a abundance mindset. Because I get tired of people telling me, like, they can't afford a gym membership. And I watch what they eat. Yeah. They eat good.
And look, if you start a garden, I know people ain't trying to start a garden.
Yeah.
But if you start a garden, you're going to be, growing food that's healthy because it's straight out the ground.
And working.
And you're going to be working. That's going to be sweating. You're going to be, like, bending down.
Yeah.
So you're going to be looser. Yeah. First of all, you're going to be probably losing a little bit of weight. Or at least your body going to feel better. What? Why you laughing?
No. This description is funny.
Oh, sorry.
But yes, and it's funny because sometimes I feel like in this season of young kids that we're doing the most by trying to work out. Like, we just bought this punching bag, which was worth it for us because we enjoy doing that together. But sometimes I feel like we're doing the most. Like, if we would just let go of the working out thing, and we wouldn't be so stressed and so tired. But I realize it is tied to our abundance mindset. And I just got this: when you have an abundance mindset, you have generational vision, right? And when you have generational vision, your health is one of your main concerns because I need to be here for my grandkids. Like, I need to be here, you know what I mean, to see what my kids do. I need to be here to hand the company over to our children. I need to be in good health. As much as we don't control that, but we control a lot of it, but you know what I mean. And so I think health is worried about your health is such an abundance mindset.
Yeah, and health is wealth. So, like, it
really is.
If you're not healthy, mentally or physically, like, you really can't even enjoy, like, what God has blessed you with.
Wow, we are truly living on a racetrack today. These race cars going by. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. It ain't usually, all this is not usually going on out here, but we doing what we can.
All right, number 5 on the list. All right, but we build each other up. So, like, anything that Della is wanting to strive after, like, I'm here to support her. So even if that means that sacrifices, like, my time or things that I want to do, right? I'm willing to do that to see her, elevate, to see her move up. You know what I mean? Yeah,
we're both equally willing to sacrifice for each other. And, like, neither of us are flatterers, I feel like, by nature. That's what I liked about you. You're not going to gas me up for no reason. So if you tell me something about myself, I believe that you believe it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a flatterer. Yeah. So, so when I tell you something, I mean it. And so That's really cool. And I think it's really important. And again, it goes back to that abundance mindset. I believe that people with abundance mindsets are free to give out compliments. They don't feel like anybody's in competition. Like, we don't feel competition within our marriage. And then we definitely, within our friendships, like, we build each other up. But I think we also build other people around us up, because it's not a competition. Like, if you do well, I do well. If I do well, you do well. Like, it's bound to happen to everybody in our close circle.
I want to see everybody win. So if me benefiting off something, and I can help you, and help you win, that's like super dope. So.
Yeah. I think this next one, number 6, is something that we just walked into, but we create space in our finances to take risk and make investments and make mistakes. I think trucking taught us that when we started our trucking company. It's just a whole nother mindset shift, and I'm thankful for that. Like, I think a poverty mindset is scared to put money on the table. An abundance mindset really understands the concept of it takes money to make money. Yeah. And even if it ain't physical money, it takes something to make money. It takes something. And I'm excited to be here in this space where we're like, oh no, it takes money. Oh, we lost that money. Okay, I think where my mindset has shifted is, oh dang, we lost that money. Instead of thinking, dang, now we got all this debt. It's like, okay, we are able to make the money to pay that back.
Yes.
And we learned a lesson.
Yes.
And that, to me, I'm thankful for that, because old Della could not breathe with the amount of debt we're in.
But we understand too that, like, it's so many ways to make money.
Yeah.
Like, it's so many ways to make money, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Online, and then shoot, like, online platforms. It's just so many different ways. You gotta have the creative mind space to be able to think of the ways to make that money.
Creativity is currency.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
what I always say.
Last one is, we always have a dream or a goal in mind. So when we was living in a camper, it wasn't we just trying to live in a camper, live in 200 square feet. Like, ain't nobody trying to do that. But the goal was, all right, so how can we kill debt while we in here?
Yeah.
All right. How can we save up money so that we can build a home on this property? So just shoot, we always done that. Right?
We've always, and let me tell y'all something too. I think the shift in our marriage when we went from fighting each other to really trying to understand each other and trying to communicate with each other is when we put a goal in front of us that both of us were going for. When you have goals in front of you and dreams in front of you, you don't have time to be arguing with each other. You have to figure out how to communicate. You have to figure out what ticks the other person off so you can stop doing it. You have to, not that we don't fight, but we fight fast and we let it go.
Yeah,
and I think that's what shifted it. And we do always have a vision in front of us, something to go after. When you have an abundant mindset, you can do that. Like, we no longer let the current amount of money in our bank account dictate what's next for us. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes the dreams that God gives me, like, I'm like, yo, we don't have the money for that right now, you know, and I'm scared to, like, tell you. But then when I tell you, like, and we talk about it, I'm like, okay, this feels really manageable. Like, this feels like something we can pull off.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just pray that the Lord continues to open up our abundant mindset. And what do you feel like the shift was for us? I don't think we ever truly just had a flat out poverty mindset. But I feel like this next season that God is taking us into, man, so much, our eyes have been opened. Like, what do you feel like, in your opinion, was that shift, like that trigger for you? Or for us, like, what like either the why, like why God is doing it, or what caused it? Because I just feel it. Like, I just feel we're in a whole different headspace.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what. I mean, trucking really changed my mindset.
For sure.
Trucking really did.
What else? Because we've already talked about that. Because even before trucking, in order for us to get in a place where we're like, we're gonna try it no matter what, something shifted.
I think knowing that, okay, like, believing or seeing that, like, man, I have this crazy amount of potential, but knowing, like, things out of my control could be in the way of it. So I wanted to control more of my destiny. That could be it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That could be it.
And I think realizing inflation is not playing with us.
Yeah.
Like, It's just not. And people want their money. You know what I mean? Like,
and also realize that, okay, it's certain things that we did not learn in school. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, for real. Like, what? Why wasn't this taught in school?
Yeah.
Because this being taught in school would have helped me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, okay, so what other things have not been told to me or have been kept from me to keep me from moving up or attaining wealth or obtaining a lifestyle that I desire to live?
Yeah. And I think COVID too. I think us being together as a family, us knowing that we don't want someone telling us, this is kind of what you were saying, but we don't want nobody telling us we can't be a part. So like this abundance mindset for us is bigger than, we're not trying to give no prosperity gospel, which I've learned that's not even a thing. Prosperity is in the Bible. The problem with the whole prosperity gospel thing is when people are like, if you pray, the Lord is going to drop gold down. No, if you pray, the Lord will probably give you $1 million idea like he did to us. And then you got to get up off your behind and do it. That's not prosperity gospel. That's
put some works to that faith.
Yes. And I think us realizing, you know what? Us being together as a family is healthy, and we love it, and we enjoy it.
Yeah.
And we're going to do what we got to do to make it happen.
Yeah. People are like, you got 4 kids? Dang, you got all them kids? I mean, I love being with my family. Like,
you just said that. That's another thing. Is like, when it comes to abundance mindset, people see our 4 kids, and they're like, they can't breathe. You would think they had to pay for the kids. It's like, this has nothing to do with you. You nor your tax dollars pay for our children. You know what I mean? And I just find that incredible. But again, as a man thinketh, like people are like, I could never afford 4 kids, or how do you do that, or how do you afford daycare? Well, we really didn't pay for daycare for many of them, and their activities, or especially when they see we have 3 girls, like that guy that was like, you have an expensive future ahead of you. It's like, well, then we believe we serve a God that's going to provide the income, or the ideas that will provide the income to take care of these children. You cannot possibly think that, again, abundance mindset. If the Creator abundantly blessed us with these children, I have to believe that if I'm listening and I'm open, that the Creator will abundantly bless me with ideas that will then be able to allow me to afford these children, and to me, more abundantly, afford them and be with them. Because money is low-hanging fruit.
Ooh, I just thought about this. So we're heirs to the kingdom of God.
Yep.
Right? A kingdom. First of all, what kingdom you know of
where there's lack?
Where there's lack.
Yeah.
I don't know of any. And so that means, like, okay, so why would God want me to be in poverty? Or why would God want me to have lack? You smiling?
Well, because people aren't ready to talk about this. And this is kind of what I talked about in my other video. It's like, God is not a God of lack. There was no lack in the Garden of Eden.
None.
And I know the chicken just jumped up on
It's just saying how.
It shook me. What was I saying?
There's no lack in the Garden of Eden.
There's no lack in the Garden of Eden. There's no lack. Lack is just the idea that lack is a lack of ideas. Lack is a lack of work. Now, there are some places and countries where you can do whatever you want and not really change your situation.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's another reason why I feel this holy burden, this holy push to die empty. Meaning I've exhausted every resource around me, every gift around, like within me, everything. Like I've done everything in my might to honor the Lord with my gifts.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's about for me.
Sure.
Like for me, living abundantly ain't necessarily God gonna give me every mansion I've ever dreamed. First of all, I don't know that I even care to live in a mansion, and it's deeper than that. It's so much deeper than that. So these are the conversations we have together, and they really uplift us. They encourage us to continue to push forward. I want to know, what are some ways that you need to open up your life and think abundantly? Because we didn't just get here by ourselves. We got here from studying, reading, listening to podcasts, and then bringing each other challenging thoughts, or looking at some habits and routines that we have now. Abundant living is very different than stewardship, and I don't know if I talked about this in any of my videos yet, but we still are good stewards of our money. We as quick as we went to buy the punching bag, which I still bought it on Facebook Marketplace. It's like a $1,000 punching bag I got for
it's like $400.
Oh really?
Yeah. I mean, actually, no, that's not true. It's like 5.
500.
So
we
we
get
still
1,000. Oh, I think I was looking at the whole program together.
Oh, probably so. But still,
whatever. $500 punching bag I got for $200.
Yeah.
And but some people think $200 that's a lot of money. But as fast as we went to go buy that, we don't just get up and go out to eat with all of our kids whenever we feel like it. Like, we invest our money. Money loves to be invested, not spent. And I remember when I learned that, I was like, wow, that's so deep. Money loves to be invested, not spent. And then you spend the money that your money brings back to you.
yeah.
Does that make sense? So I invest my money in. So over here we're gonna build an apartment garage, and on top there's, we'll be able to rent that space out. Well, I don't spend the money that I spend to build an apartment. Like, okay, say I get $50,000, I'm not going to go send my family on a vacation with the $50,000. I'm going to build the apartment garage with the $50,000, and then the $75,000 over time that the apartment garage pays me in cash flow is what I'll use to take my kids on a vacation.
Exactly.
And so just that mindset shift, like, you don't spend the seed, right? Like, you invest it. And I don't know. And it requires slower return on investment.
Yes,
it requires, there's so many times when me and Myra have to say no to people when they want to hang out. And we're not, and for them, they may see that as poverty mindset, but we're like, we're focused and we're happy. Abundant mindset says I can still have joy and do the things I want to do without spending every dollar every time I get it to go out to eat. Like, how many times are we gonna go out to eat?
Or just leisure or entertainment.
Entertainment. And that's another thing with abundant mindset, is that people who are wealthy and have an abundant mindset, and this is our studies, we're not saying like we're there, we're teaching you guys. No, we're learning together that we're learning together that wealthy people, they invest in themselves, and they invest in education. And that's the thing. Myra and I have spent so much money this year on investing in coaching and courses and books and seminars and conferences. That's how we spend our money. So when people are like,
and our time.
So, like, we don't watch TV during the week. Sometimes we don't even get to watch it on the weekends. Not because we're like workaholics, but listen, when you have kids, by the time you get done stewarding your time, you do not have time to be sitting down watching television. Not when you're trying to level up. Not when I said television. That's so old school.
Yeah, that low key was.
Or like, not when you're trying to level up. Not when God has given you a vision and you're trying to steward it and be obedient and make sure it happens. You ain't got time for that. So again, I don't even know how we got here. But I'm about to cut grass. That's one of my favorite activities. And
that sounds real country.
I know. We got plenty of grass to cut. It's a workout. It's like 2 for 1. I love it. So I get to work out, listen to a podcast, and I'm cutting our grass, which needs to be cut. So we love y'all, and we will see y'all next week.